Oh, okay. So good evening and welcome to Eat, Sleep, Drink, Cricket. अभी अभी एक एपिसोड खत्म किया हमने. जोश में वो जोश साला खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा हमारा. बार बार we are going to this thing. So this episode is shot in two parts. So one part is on the Tendulkar Anderson or the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy. We'll
Anderson
review
Tendulkar.
the review. We'll do the review for it. And the second part is a very India centric review, which will happen a little bit later. तो हमारे टी शर्ट और भास्कर का ब्लेजर वेजर वैसे ही रहेगा. और अभिजीत का वो जो गोवन शर्ट है वो भी वैसे ही रहेगा. हम कपड़े नहीं बदल के आएंगे. Right. So let me also introduce all the people here. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Kunal. Kunal first class cricketer हैं. He from West Bengal cricket. अभी कलकत्ता क्रिकेट एसोसिएशन से जुड़े हुए हैं. Am I right? And he's played with Saha, he's played with Lakshmi Ratan Shukla. सौरव गंगुली को जानते हैं, उनके घर पे जाके खाना खाया है. ये तो मैंने खुद ही अपना मसाला जोड़ दिया है. और passionately he knows what happens in the dressing room, so that in this discussion we'll try and bring out that aspect or that emotion what a cricketer feels through. बाकी हम analyst fan की तरफ से देखते हैं. He probably can bring in a different type of analysis. Yeah. Sagar is also from Calcutta. He knows a lot of he says that he takes care of HNIs and has a lot of journalist friends specifically from London. तो वो हमको खबर देते रहते थे कि पिच का क्या होने वाला है, बारिश होगा कि नहीं, बाल्टी कहाँ रखना है, सब बता रहे थे. अभिजीत तो मैचेस देख देख के मतलब हर हर सेकंड का व्हाट्सएप पे मेरा और अभिजीत का चलता ही रहा, तो बहुत अच्छा लगा. 25 दिन क्रिकेट देखा, तो मतलब आप सोच सकते हैं कि कितना मजा आया होगा. एंड देन भास्कर द ओनली मैन जो यूएस में बैठ के बस उंगली करते जा रहे थे, लेकिन मैच एक भी नहीं देखा, पूरा हाईलाइट देख के काम चलाया इन्होंने. But anyways, he could not keep himself out of this entire thing. So what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to have some introduction. Now in this introduction, because me, Abhijit and Sagar, we have already given our emotions in the last discussion, I'm going to start with Kunal. Kunal, आपसे बात करूंगा. What are your emotions on this two all? What do you think went on? And just take it forward from there. आपको कैसा लग रहा है? How do you feel? And just give your emotions here.
So, thank you for bringing me here and giving an opportunity to speak with some of the passionate people of sports. Like for any sports person, it's very important to have people who watch and admire. Then your game get different standard. I am a bit upset about Indian result. India would have won 3-1. Actually, the prediction is if even if Lords doesn't happen, India should own 4-0. Actually, that's the result, except a draw. So, because India played quite superbly in this entire fight of 25 days, out of 25 days, you never thought of that India can lose in any of the game. They are not out of the game. I really have not seen this such a young batting lineup has scored consistently over 350 runs, even in fourth innings. With the batting maestros in the team, you hardly scored more than 250 in fourth innings in last 2 to 3 years. So that's a sea change in an attitude. A lot of people are looking after the head of Mr. Gautam Gambhir. But I'll tell you that what he brings in the table, he has got a never say die attitude, which you can see, which is a reflection in the body of the people. And people will prefer the team game first than their individual game. So he will prefer team man who scored a brilliant 40 than a selfish 100. So he is that man. I am really emotionally high that how the India made 2-2, and the last day I was seeing a reel from Mr. Mohammad Siraj at a press conference. He was showing a mobile screensaver that belief. So he downloaded it from a Google and put it on screen that belief. So belief in belief is a line that I follow in life. So he believed that I could be the change maker. I could be own the game. The moment one feels so, they can actually transform. You see, the last day, the Indian team was more charged than the fourth day. And it was good on Indians' favor that fourth day's game got stopped because of due to bad light. Because the body language of Indian in day 4 was a bit low. Shoulders were dropped because of the very good reason, because the partnership between Brook and Joe Root. So I feel very happy. This team is way to go. I'm saying They're 2-2. Maybe they lose in they going to lose to South Africa. I don't mind. But this team is a future. You need one Bumrah to be fit. People had making a meme. In no Bumrah, we are winning test matches. Uh, it's not that. The man has given a lot of happy memories for us, and he doesn't deserve this. He's a champion bowler, and I'm sure the moment he comes in with more of Akashdeep, more of Shiraj, even Prasidh Krishna will improve from here. We'll see a different team altogether, Rajiv. I'm sure we'll see an absolutely transformed Indian team next 1 to 2 years.
ग्रेट ग्रेट थैंक यू कुणाल दैट वाज रियली इमोशनल थे आपने बहुत अच्छा बोला कि टीम सेट है आगे बहुत कुछ करने के लिए बुमराह का बात किया गौतम गंभीर का बात किया विल ब्रिंग दोस टॉपिक्स आल्सो एज वी प्रोसीड ऑन आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी रेलेवेंट थिंग भास्कर आपके पास आते हैं तो फाइनली ये जो फिफ्थ टेस्ट है ये एक ही टेस्ट है जिसके पीछे आप हाथ धो के पड़े थे आपका बिलीव था कि जीतेंगे कैसे भी करके सो आप बताएं व्हाट आर योर इनिशियल कमेंट्स and then we'll take test by test we'll review.
Yeah, I'm like absolutely like thrilled about what happened on the last day. I did watch one match, the Lord's Test match. The last day I watched, and India unfortunately lost that test. Uh, so I think going into the last day, I somehow felt that India is going to get those. I thought India would just need 3 wickets. I never expected Chris Woakes to come out to bat the way he did. No, I was expecting that 9 wickets mein khatam ho
Yeah,
jayega
got
match.
it, got
I
it,
was
got
not
it.
really expecting. So, but I think Chris Woakes coming out made the match more interesting. I would have liked to see him play a couple of deliveries. Kaise khelne wala. I was like hoping that he gets to play a couple of deliveries. But I think it was great. I think Prasidh Krishna getting that second last wicket was brilliant. And of course, Siraj is such an unbelievably underrated fast bowler. I think he keeps bowling like a workhorse. We've seen Kapil Dev doing it, and the only other fast bowler who's bowled like that after the great Kapil Dev is Siraj. I have not seen any other fast bowler bowl test after test, 25 overs, 30 overs, and just keeps coming back hard at you. I think it's absolutely sensational. But the biggest gain of the series, I surely feel, is Shubman Gill. So I think it's a great victory, but I would have still felt India should have won this Test series 3-0. India had the only test where England outplayed us was the fourth test, जहाँ पे draw हो गया. But for that, India dominated the other 4 test matches. First test, I think India shouldn't have given away so many runs, but I think it's a fair result in the end to all. But I still feel India should have won this series. The way they played, I was not expecting them to really win the series when they went. I thought a drawn series would be good enough, but I think the way they batted, they could have come back with a victory. Rajiv.
Great. So 3-0 you say. Okay, so a lot of people were wanting 4-1, 4-0. ये आप 3-0 का एक एस्पेक्ट लेके आ रहे हैं आई थिंक दैट्स आई थिंक द फर्स्ट टेस्ट अगर रन्स ज्यादा बन जाते तो शायद ड्रॉ ही होता था तो वो भी एक द वे टू सी इट सो इससे सो व्हाट वी गोइंग टू डू इज नाउ वी गोइंग टू टेक इंडिविजुअली टेस्ट हम लेंगे अभी और उसके वी गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट इट सो सागर आई एम पुटिंग यू ऑन द स्पॉट फर्स्ट and we're going to review the test and so what I want you to do is I want you to review test 1 and 2 because those are combined tests one England one India one and what really happens is कि pitches बहुत अच्छे थे it was just that the better batting team won in both the cases right and then I want you have spoken and you also wrote an article about the Duke's ball and why the pitches behave in this fashion you know getting softer very quickly and all those stuff और रोलर ये सब जो भी है सो ये फर्स्ट 2 टेस्ट का आप एक रिव्यू दें उसके बाद अभिजीत जो बोर हो रहे हैं उनके पास भी आएंगे तो जल्दी ही आएंगे चलिए सागर आपके पास से स्टार्ट करते हैं 1 and 2 फॉर यू
So, just to start off with, when the initial, all the predictions, everything was going around, and honestly, even I believe this team, while deep down inside me, I thought it was 2-1, but I still thought, no, it can't be because it is England. And I mean, you can't do that because the ball will swing, the ball will seam, it'll be heavy overcast conditions. So, what happened first, and especially when you're starting off with in Leeds, Headingley. So what happened is now I'll leave aside the test matches as in test matches and I'll come to the pitches and the ball first. So what happened in the pitches? The pitches in England, because of this is my theory. I may be wrong again. And my theory is with Baz McCullum coming in, and before that, please note that in Joe Root's captaincy, England was on a losing spree of 14 tests in 15 matches, 15 tests. 14 out of 15 tests they had lost. So when Baz McCullum came in, the first thing I think he sat down with Rob Keys, and the first thing they ensured is the pitches have to be flat. Because if the pitches are not flat, because the English batsmen had actually forgotten to play when the ball starts to move. And by the way, they never knew how to play the ball when when it spins and bounces. So they came into a and they were having at that point of time some amazing short duration players, the T20 players, the one day players with Butler and all those people. Stokes was at his prime. So what the ECB came up with a plan is make the team a flat pitch bully. Now, what had happened is over a period of time, yes, India lost also. India lost one of the tests when they had actually put up around 370 odd runs, the final test last time around. So, again, it had happened with a lot of other teams. Now, they came to Pakistan and they got the same flat tracks and they started winning. Now, they went to Australia, they lost in the one days. I'm saying in the one day side also. Now, what has happened is also eight of the I think 14 or 15 counties in England, county grounds, which are also the international grounds, have undergone a water management system. So, England being a very wet country, it rains very often, mostly summers and into the rainy season. So, what they have done is they have actually revamped the ground drainage system. Now, what it has done is with the drainage system, it is also sucking out water from the pitch also. The pitch is also a part of the ground, please remember. So the pitch is also the water from the pitch, the moisture from the pitch is also getting dried up. Now, what in effect it's doing is you are actually getting drier pitches. The temp, the weather this time in England was crazy hot. We played in London when the average temperature was 33. I mean, in Lords. So with all and prolonged period of dryness. So what it has happened is the pitches became more of a subcontinental type of pitches, flat pitches where you can score a lot of runs. Add to that the Duke's ball. Now, what happened with the Duke's ball? The Duke's ball, Mr. Dilip Jajodia, he himself has accepted that post-COVID, a lot of things have changed with the making of the ball. The tanneries have closed down in England. So you are left with only one or two tanneries, which makes English Duke's ball, the Duke's ball that is. Then also the a lot of the people who used to make the balls, these balls are handmade, they're stitched handmade. So a lot of people unfortunately had passed off during COVID. People who have come in, the raw materials which have come in, may not be at that extremely good level. So what it is happening is a hard pitch, an abrasive pitch with a not so good Duke's ball is making the ball very soft. Why I gave such a long preview to the first and second test is because the first and the second test was and only was dependent on the pitch and the ball. In one of England's first innings, there were five ball changes. Five. The first one as early as 10.2 overs. It's not, it is seriously unacceptable when you do that. So what happened in the first test is England again bullied with the bat when everybody thought the pitch will be not conducive to a good batting in the fifth day. In the first test in Leeds, out of all places, Headingley, the match went on and England won it. By the way, India still made a comeback. There was a period in time when they required 70 runs and had five wickets in hand, but yeah, that went away. Now, what happened in the second test? The second test, India said Bumrah is not playing. There's no point in wasting this person on a flat pitch again, and that is also on a back-to-back uh, test. So India went on with Akashdeep, and somehow the pitch which was there suited Akashdeep more than Bumrah. And we have to take it with a pinch of salt over here. Akashdeep's bowling action, Akashdeep's way of hitting the pitch is different than Bumrah. And what it did is the English were not prepared for Akashdeep. And what happened is, and also one big thing, India, I'm again making a very bold statement. India should not have won the second test had England known how to bat for a draw. They had only got to bat 96 overs. Maybe with the reduced and the overhead conditions, you can put it at 85, 86 overs. They did not have the self belief. They did not believe in their technical ability to bat out on a flat track, which India did in the fourth test. So effectively, what they tried to do, and I'll just highlight one small piece of information over here. Jamie Smith, what batting wonderfully well with Bryden Cars over number 60, 59 point something. He hits three sixes in a row, and there's no way they are going to win that match at that point of time. He still goes ahead and tries to hit Akashdeep for the fourth six. The only time in Test history it has done was Kapil Dev doing it to Eddie what was his
Eddie
name? Forgot.
Hemmings.
Eddie Hemmings. Sorry, Eddie Hemmings 4 times in a row to save a follow-on. He tries to emulate that. Akashdeep balls a slower, wider off stump ball, and immediately that goes up, and Washington Sundar is there to catch it. You don't need to play that shot. What is it? Why do you have to play it? But good for us. I thought the second test, while India batted and bowled and adapted much well to that pitch, but England, I personally believe, I think Australia, South Africa, even I'll name Pakistan, maybe even Sri Lanka also would have actually drawn that match because that pitch did not deserve a result, to be very honest with you. Even maybe not even the first one also. Rajiv.
Great, great. थैंक यू सो मच. काफी लंबा, लेकिन आई थिंक द पिचेस एंड ऑल आपने एक बहुत अच्छा डिस्कशन दिया. सो आई नाउ गो टू अभिजीत. आपके पास जाता हूँ नाउ. थर्ड डे टेस्ट मैच का मूविंग डे बोला जाता है. तो इस थर्ड टेस्ट मूविंग टेस्ट फॉर अ सीरीज, दैट टू इफ इट्स स्टक एट 1-1, आप क्या कहेंगे? टेक अस थ्रू द थर्ड टेस्ट. व्हाट इज योर कॉल? अभिजीत आप म्यूट पे हैं.
Sorry, yeah. I'll just continue from where Sagar mentioned. Second test hum jeet chuke the, we were on a high. And actually, before that, thank you for bringing me to this podcast of such passionate people. अभी जब भी बात हो रही थी कि कपिल देव 4-6 मारा है, किसके अगेंस्ट इमीडिएटली 3-4 लोगों ने दौड़ गया, एडी हेमिंग्स. इस लेवल का पैशन होना बहुत जरूरी है. Because you mentioned early in this, you introduced me as a retired person. It's retired, but retirement in modern world is not easy if you don't have passion, and passion has to be very in-depth passion. मैं कल सुबह 5:30 आज सुबह एक्चुअली 5:30 बजे तक मैं सारे रिव्यूज देखा बाय डीके, बाय हर्षा भोगले ऑफ दिस सीरीज ऑफ अश्विन. फिर एक सोनी स्पोर्ट्स में एक यूट्यूब में एक 1.5 घंटे का है कि आफ्टर द मैच फिनिशेस जो 1.5 घंटे का पूरा रिकॉर्डिंग है वो पूरा है. I watched all of them, and that passion is very important. So I'll connect this passion with the Lord's Test defeat because after the second test there was a high. I recall in Ashwin's preview, Ashwin said 70% India are going to win. I believed India are going to win that match 70%. And amongst all the 5 test matches, that one is the test match which has the maximum what if moments. What if अगर ये हो जाता? If I go to the last test में वो शिराज का कैच जो ड्रॉप हुआ था, that is the only what if moment. वो नहीं होता तो फिर मैच चेंज होता. But if I go to the Lord's Test, there are the tremendous moments, and because that is a very low scoring match. उस मैच में I think that's the only match where India, जो मैं राजीव बार बार बोलता हूँ ना कि if India can avoid the 40-for-3 situation, India will win many matches across the world. India in second innings of that match was around approximately 40-for-3. So that's why I feel we lost that game. Now, when you see that test match actually England batted first, and England were 271 for 7. And वहां पे KL Rahul drops an easy catch of Bryden Cars. That helps it make it to 387. And that 110-15 runs makes a big difference. Similarly, when India comes out to bat and Rishabh Pant ka jo run out hota hai, and I cursed why that happened, because we all knew, as passionate as connoisseurs who follow the game for so many years, we knew that is a very, very big moment. That moment could cost 80-90 runs, and it actually happened. And in fact, 254, if I'm not wrong, 254 for 3 tha, chasing 387, not chasing, I mean trailing at the score of 387. वहां पे India could have easily made it to a 450 होता तो that Lord's match हमारा था. वहां से there's a mini collapse, and then I think Washington Sundar scores some runs, and we somehow make it to 387. Then comes England's third innings, and England's third innings, I'll continue here from what Sagar mentioned about that baseball thing. कुछ भी होता तो हम baseball करते हैं. Actually, England underperformed in that inning. England had no business being 192 all out, whatever they made. They were making the most audacious of shots. Harry Brook जो bold हुआ, वो reverse sweep मारते जा रहा आकाशदीप को, that was not needed. It started off with Ben Duckett, hike कर पूरा T20 type का shot मार रहा है, mid on में catch out हो रहा. I clearly felt England have thrown 3-4 wickets, out of that in that 192. And therein, I thought कि England are throwing away wickets. If India bats sensibly, India can pull it through. But India came to 111 for 8. 111 for 8 पे अगर हम 120 all out हो जाते ना तो भी ठीक था. But we kept pulling, and suddenly the tail which was abused after the first test match, कि बॉस collapse करता है, ये tail तो कोई काम का नहीं है. That tail suddenly starts pulling off, and that ends in a very painful defeat. And that painful defeat would have rankled us for decades, not years, decades, had Shiraj not equalized that series at 2-2. So I'll give you an example, and I think all of us are so passionate, we'll realize. Most of us have been following cricket for 30-40 years. मुझे सबका उम्र तो मालूम नहीं, मैं तो 41 years से cricket follow कर रहा हूँ. That 1987 Bangalore test defeat still rankles me, it still hurts me. Gavaskar ने जो खत्म नहीं कर पाया था. The reason why it hurts me is because we lost that series. अगर वो series हम जीतते या draw होता तो मुझे hurt नहीं करता. 1991-92 World Cup का 2 defeats, losing to Australia by 1 run, losing to England by 9 runs, still hurts me. Chennai test 1999 still hurts me. Why? Because we lost those matches. But ये वाला series, because Siraj drew that, अब हमारा 20-30 साल बाद हमारा memory रहेगा कि Siraj ने जो bold किया. Else, apart from that, the Lord's test was a fascinating series, fascinating test match. People are predicting between 4-1 this side to 4-1 that side, but Lords is the moving point. अगर Lords हम India जीत जाता तो actually series बहुत अलग direction. But all in all, for passionate fans, defeat is also a reward. Defeat keeps you in your memory longer. हम आज भी हमें 2018 का जो डिफीट था, जो विराट कोहली हार्दिक पांड्या था, चेजिंग अराउंड 192 हार जाते हैं, वो हमें अभी भी याद है. हमें उसका विन का उतना नहीं याद होगा जितना डिफीट का याद होगा. तो डिफीट also has some flavor in it. Pain stays in memory longer. So as passionate fans, I don't mind defeat as long as the team fights. And I thought the team fought wonderfully in that test match and in the rest of this. This is a monster team. I agree with everybody that this is a monster team. The only person I don't agree with is Bhaskar. One is, in the most, I took retirement inspired by Bhaskar. Bhaskar is retired before me. कि बॉस हम इंडियन क्रिकेट देखेंगे, हम एंजॉय करेंगे. In the most important series, he goes out to US, putting photographs of dams and canals and parks every day. And he's got all his cricket thing messed up now. He says Kapil Dev ke baad the only other bowler who has been bowling non-stop relentlessly is Siraj. He's wrong. There was one Ishan Sharma in between. Ishan Sharma was chosen because he could bowl and bowl and bowl and bowl every day for decades. Rajeev, up to you.
चलो, आपने अपना काम कर दिया कि आपने हाँ हाँ, I'm listening. So भास्कर को आपने अपनी तरफ से अपने अंदर का जो पॉइजन है बाहर निकाल दिया कि वो जाके. भास्कर, आप यार ये बात मैं ऑफलाइन पूछूंगा कि आपने जितना फेसबुक में फोटोज इन यूएस का डाला है, उतना आपने लाइफ टाइम में उतना फेसबुक का लास्ट 10 years में नहीं डाला है. मैं और अभिजीत तो खैर फेसबुक में रहते हैं, बट आप यार, आपको क्या हो गया? ब्रिज डाल रहे हैं कहीं लेक में, बोटिंग करते हुए, क्या है यार मतलब. चलो, anyway, so fourth test, I don't want to take a lot of time on fourth test. The only thing which I wanted to mention about fourth test is that, when Jaiswal and Sudarshan got out, and Sudarshan got out very casually in the second innings, at 0-2, मुझे लगा खत्म है match. In fact, I ranted. Sagar knows it. Kunal, probably he heard all my ranting over a voice note saying कि यार ये तो 4-1 लग रहा है. मतलब because what happened is, जो 2011 में हम 4-0 आ रहे थे ना, मुझे वो याद आ गया. मुझे लगा यार ये it's going that way कि हम नहीं लड़ पा रहे हैं, probably tired legs and all. And from there we get 3 centuries: Gill, Jadeja, Washington Sundar, and the fourth one, I think Rahul made 80 odd. He should have also got a century, but bacha liya test match. And I think that's where Oval Test went into such a high and we could win it. The only thing was because we we got two genuine batters in Jadeja and Washington Sundar, we could not get that fourth bowler in the Oval Test. We had to place these two also. So now I'm going to Bhaskar and then finally I'll come to you, Kunal, कि आप ये wrap up कर सकें इस पूरे चीज को. So Bhaskar, fifth test आपने देखा, little bit whatever you followed. I want you to take it up कि selection में थोड़ा सा risk था, but they took the risk. It's obviously paid off क्योंकि हम जीत गए. But do you think it was, in hindsight, do you still think that it was a good decision, or what do you think really made sure that India could win this match?
See, the only thing I always feel is that to have a wicket-taking spin bowler against an English team, because England, like the moment people say wrist spin, they start panicking. That's the only thing which I see in this team, which probably somehow if we could get Kuldeep in. But for that, I don't think getting one bowler less or having an extra pace bowler helps, because if what three fast bowlers cannot do, how can a fourth fast bowler do? So having Washington Sundar and Jadeja is like a big bonus, so that India bat really deep. We saw even in the one day Champions Trophy, batting deep really helped. So I think that's where the only issue is. If we could somehow fit in a wrist spinner where like England starts panicking, that's where we can probably like get players like Ben Duckett and Harry Brook out cheaply, because we've been giving too many easy runs to them, I feel. Harry Brook and Ben Duckett, especially Ben Duckett, is not some all-time great who should be scoring at 6 and over in Test cricket. That's why the first Test loss was so painful, because 373 on the last day, we shouldn't have given away so many runs. If you're not able to take wickets, at least we should have been able to contain such players. हमने बहुत ज़्यादा run easily दे दिया है to players like Harry Brook and Ben Duckett. They shouldn't be going at 6 and over. The moment you think they're going at 6.5 and over, we should be able to control it. Test cricket में इतना wides भी होता नहीं है. So that's one problem I feel, that all teams are allowing England to score freely. Even on a flat pitch, they shouldn't be allowed to get away so easily with scoring 300s, 400s in one day, especially the fifth day. So I think usi mein problem hai, but for that I don't see much of a problem in selection. I'm glad they stuck with players like Sai Sudarshan and gave Karun Nair enough chances. He played a brilliant knock. I'm still saying the first innings knock he played, I think probably is as good or even better than his so-called triple century, which we keep talking about. I think that's probably the best knock he's played in Test match cricket. So I think because of that one knock, India got a sizable total in the first innings. And we in India we talk about the fourth innings scores, but in Australia the first innings when the match is set up, it gets a lot of credit. So I think that knock which he played was very vital. We still talk about the 148 scored by Rahul Dravid in Headingley, because that was the most difficult time to play. Though Sachin scored 194, Rahul Dravid got the man of the match. So I think that's where I think more or less I'm quite happy with the selection, except for the fact that we could somehow, if we can get a wrist spinner in against these kind of teams who are a bit weak against high quality spin bowling. Rajiv.
Great. So finally, I'm coming to Kunal. Kunal, you heard all of us speak about test 1 to 5. What are your closing thoughts? What do you think India did well to get to 2-2? Are they? I mean, we all have to accept the fact. We all know that India should have won. You yourself mentioned ki, we should have probably won the series probably 4-0 also. From there, but we still will take 2-2 because it's an away test, away series. So how do you see how do you want to sum up this entire thing?
See, first of all, we talk about the team combination. For this 2-2, India actually hit the right combination. As Bhaskar was mentioning about not having Kuldeep Yadav in place, if you given a choice, which area you would like to place Kuldeep, maybe Wasis or PK, this two bowler has to, one of them have to be sacrificed his place. If you thought that why you could have saved the match in fourth test, Washington Sundar is one, and he scored brilliant 50 in that the Oval Test as well. What innings that was! So India actually picked the right people. First, you have to protect the match, and then you go for a win. So you got a three bowlers, two spinners, and two are two different spinners. Now Wasi is off spinner, balls comes in, Jadeja is a away spinner. So India has got a variety. Kuldeep Yadav being a Chinaman definitely always add a flavor, but he has an incoming delivery only. So if I calculate that, an incoming delivery to a batsman, so Vasi is doing that job as a being a traditional off spinner, adding a batting skill more than a Kuldeep's at any given point of time, in any given day. So I am actually picking the right combination. This happens in a dressing room when you discuss how you add variety. He Chinaman definitely Kuldeep is a special talent. He will play in India, where India will go with two seamers. I'll tell you, Akashdeep 66 was a surprise to many, but not to me. I know him personally. I'm telling you, Rajiv, he will be scoring test 100 also. He's a very good batsman. I often scold him. I text him. He's a big, small brother. I said, you are not doing justice to your batting. I have seen him hitting big sixes in the nets, in the Bengal nets. I do not go to watch Ranji Trophy matches. I go to nets. So you can see the players, how they are playing, how they are made of. So it excites me how they're batting. So he is a very good batsman. So actually, Gautam Gambhir is not a fool that's sending him as a night watchman because he knows that he got capability. India really did well. Siraj, PK will definitely need some time. He'll be very handy in South Africa. He is a hit the deck bowler. In South Africa, you need that sort of a bowler who will hit the deck. And Arshdeep Singh, definitely India is grooming him. Do not think that he has got a webbing is an injury. So India don't want to aggravate it before the South Africa tour. So you need to give it a PK as a go. I feel India did really well and really wonderful analysis done by Sagar, Bhaskar, Abhijit. About the technicalities, technical part of the game, how the Duke's ball is behaving, how the flat pitches has really changed the game of the Indian English batting conditions. Bhaskar brought in how Siraj bowls after like a heart out. Yes, I support that. I always believe that you need an intent to play the game. It's not a skill. It's the intent which decides the skill. You may have a lot of talent. I heard one Harsha Vogle said that Vinod Kamble had got a talent, but once Cockney balls bowled him around the legs, he doesn't have an attitude to fight it. So that's the difference. So I feel this team has a great attitude. Last but not the least, Karun Nair is one of my favorite players because he has a character. The guy who made a comeback after 8 years, you need a character. You cannot write him off. Some people said he will not play. I said he will play at different positions because he scored that runs not at number 3, at number 5 or 6, but still he has got a bravado to say, yes, I can bat at number 3 at English condition when I'm making a comeback. So it's a huge sacrifice for a player who's making a comeback. It's a statement which made by Gautam Gambhir. See, you are an important player for me. You can bat at number 3. If you fail, I give you another spot to prove yourself, which he did, making a brilliant 52. And which proves his mettle. Somebody has written on my friend that who talks about Karun Nair batting, it doesn't know the batsmanship, how the batsmanship of Karun Nair is. So wonderful Indian team, and I'm very, very hopeful to see young talents, young Turks come again. Jaiswal, very first, 100 the first test, last test, and then again the 100. He needs to be a bit consistent in the second innings. I feel he's a great talent, and India have a great future in hand. I must tell you. Over to you, Rajeev.
Great. So thank you. We are almost closing of time. So I really thank all of you, Kunal, Sagar, Avijit, and Bhaskar. We've had a great discussion. We'll move to the part 2, which is very India centric, and Avijit, that's why is more and more Gango. So thank you again. We're closing part 1, and we'll see you after 10 minutes. Take care, and good night for the part 1 people. Yeah, sure, Kunal.
Sure.
I'll see
Okay.
you later. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you. Yeah, see you later. Yeah, bye.